Greetings, students. We're going to go over our SMORE for the upcoming Spring 2020 AP exam for AP Psychology, just to kind of look at what that test looks like and what you should be studying to prepare for that exam. So first and foremost, the date has been moved, so let's go ahead and look at that. So the new date for the AP Psychology exam is Tuesday, May the 19th, 2020. If you are in Eastern Time, your test will be at 2 p.m. Please note, if you are in a different time zone, you need to refer to the College Board site to see your exam's time. All AP exams this year, by subject, will be taken at the same time. So everyone across the world will take the AP Psychology test at the same time. So it's very important to know what time zone you're in. If you are Eastern Time, there we go, it's 2 o'clock, easy peasy. The next thing that I put on the SMORE is a compilation of some resources from the College Board and then some AP Psychology teachers from throughout the U.S. And so the first thing we're going to look at is this PowerPoint on the Frq Break Down. This year's exam will have 2 questions only, and they will be free response questions, but they're going to be a little different than those in the past. Alright, let's take a look at this. And I'm not going to go through and read to you every single thing, so I encourage you to go back through this and make sure that you do that. Click on all the links and read through everything. So first thing, a great resource to study for the FRQ is looking at past FRQs. And you can find any of the scoring guidelines by Googling AP Psychology and then inputting the year for the FRQ that you want to look at. You can also click on this hyperlink and it is going to take you to a good resource that's going to have your AP Psychology FRQs by topics. And so you can go through and see both the FRQ and then also the associated rubric. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at what the exam looks like. Timing. Students are going to have 25 minutes to read and respond to question 1, and then 5 minutes to upload their response. After uploading the response to question 1, students will have 15 minutes to respond to question 2, with additional 5 minutes to upload their response to question 2. Once their response to question 1 has submitted, they cannot go back to it, so that's important to know. So let's look. We have 2 questions. The first one's 25 minutes, and you've been practicing that timing this year with our GAVs FRQs. Then the second one is 15 minutes, and so this is going to go by extremely fast, so make sure that you are aware of that 15-minute timeline. The first question is going to be 55% of the weight of your grade, and it is a concept application, and we'll talk about what that means in a moment. The second question is 45% of your grade, and it's going to cover research methods. So that indicates you're going to need to go back to that module of research methods and make sure you know that really well. Question 1 will assess the student's ability to explain behavior and apply theories and perspectives in an authentic context. Question 2 will assess the student's ability to analyze psychological research studies, including analyzing and interpreting quantitative data. The corresponding free response question type in the course binder and exam description, similar in structure to traditional concept application questions, and then again the question will be similar in structure to research method questions. Oops, didn't need to do that yet, sorry. I did it again. Okay, so units eligible, and we'll go over this. So the eligible units for your FRQs are units 1 through 7, and the ones they are not including are 8 and 9. And so what does that look like? So here are the units that are covered on the 2020 exam. Unit 1, Scientific Foundations of Psychology. This is your research methods. 2, Biological Basis of Behavior. 3, Sensation and Perception. 4, Learning. 5, Cognitive Psychology. 6, Developmental Psychology. And 7, Motivation, Emotion, and Personality. What is a concept application question? Let's look. This is your 25-minute one. So this comes from the CED, the notebook that has your standards. And so they're looking at skill category 1. You need to be able to define, explain, and apply concepts, behavior, theories, and perspectives. Let's just summarize that. Define and apply concepts that we've learned this year to a scenario that you have been given. Bullet number 2, definitions alone do not score, must apply. And so if you're going in and you're writing definitions, that's not going to get you the points. This is an open note test, and anything that you can find on the internet, if you regurgitate into your response, you won't receive points for. They want to see what you can do with the information you have learned, i.e. apply that information. Make sure you do read over, all of this as far as the skill category. And this is going to continue too. So let's look at concepts and understandings. This is what you need to be able to do. Describe characteristics of attributes, traits, classify concepts, describe structures and functions, patterns and trends, steps and stages, relationships, cause and effect, reasons for cause and effect. Explain a behavior in an authentic context, describing a behavior, explaining why a behavior is occurring. Apply theories and perspectives, explaining from the perspectives that we've learned this year. Here is last year, 2019, FRQ, one of them, and this is an example of this type of question, of one of these concept questions. So if you read the prompt, you've got Letty, who is an assistant to the children's librarian in his town library. He enjoys shelving books in the library because he's able to work alone and focus on his task. Although it was a quiet place, sometimes children's section became noisy. After working in an unfulfilling desk job for 30 years, he recalls how much he enjoyed working at the library and decides to go back and work as a volunteer, creating new programs for disadvantaged children. For this FRQ, you need to describe, again, it's not asking you to define, it says describe, how each of the following concepts relates to working at the library. And so you have a list of terms. And so, again, hyperlink, if you click here, you're going to get the scoring guideline. And this was question number 2. And so, again, there's the prompt, and here's the general considerations. This is the actual scoring guide from the College Board. And so what they're looking for as far as responses, something to the effect, we'll look at crystallized intelligence. Letty's ability to recall the Dewey Decimal System will help him return. Letty's lack of knowledge of the current library practice may impede his success. As he reads book to the children, it adds to their understanding of the world. So you're using the term crystallized intelligence and not defining it, but applying it to that situation. And there's another one that you can go through and look at the scoring guidelines and see how terms are applied. Question 2, the research methods. This is your 15-minute one, and this is super, super fast, so just remember that. This one's going to be testing your skills at analyzing and interpreting quantitative data. So what you may be asked to do, and again, this isn't an exhaustive list, it's just some of the things they may ask you to do. Interpret a bar graph or scatter plot. Draw conclusions about research based on data in a graph or scatter plot. Calculate mean, median, or mode. Connect the results of research study to psychological, that should be perspectives, principles, processes, or perspectives. If you need a review on your descriptive statistics, here's a Khan Academy video. Continuing with this skill category, you may also be asked to do the following. Identify research methods used in a given scenario. So you need to go back and make sure you understand the advantages and disadvantages of each of these research methods: experimental, correlational, naturalistic observation. There's also survey. You need to be able to describe research design, identifying the variables, dependent variables, operational definitions. Be able to explain research design and or ethical flaws. Explain how research design or ethical flaws can be corrected. Explain why a research method is appropriate. We want to find causation, so we do an experiment. With a correlational method, we know that you can't find causation, it only shows relationships. And then explain implications, limitations of research, or explain why conclusions aren't appropriate. For example, a correlational study can't determine causation. A random assignment's not done, so it can't infer causation. Here again is back to the 2019 exam, and that is the other FRQ. And so here, A, B, C, and D, the student needed to identify the operational definition of this study, explain how data support or do not support each of the psychologist's hypotheses, explain why the psychologist can't generalize, and explain why it's not a naturalistic observation. So again, go to the guidelines, the rubric, and look at how this was scored. Another FRQ for you to look over, another one, and then that's going to give you a good base to kind of understand what's going to go on with this exam. The next thing, or the next several links, are from the College Board. And so they discuss this year's taking the exams online. So I'm not going to read through everything, but I'm just going to kind of hit the highlights so you will have an understanding. And all this is hyperlinked so you can go back. So like many college level exams, this is going to be an open note, open book test. We're going to talk about tips there. If you don't have internet or a device, you need to reach out to the College Board and let them know. And that doesn't apply. And that's just a little summary of why they chose to do this. Tips on these open notebook exams. First and foremost, this is not going to be easy. Open book and open note exams are not easy. Answering AP exam questions take more than copying information from your notes. Finding facts, formulas, or other information in your notes is only one step to answering an exam question. You have to apply the information in order to complete the task. So you still need to prepare for the exam. You need to act as if you're going to go take it at your school, in an auditorium, or wherever you take exams, and it's not online and it's not at home. Having resources available may save you time and memorize the information, but you need to know how to apply the information efficiently and correctly, and this takes preparation. And you don't have enough time, especially on the 15-minute question, to waste looking up answers that you don't know. So you need to know the information and you need to know how to apply it. More materials are not always better. You need to answer multiple questions on your AP exam and you have a limited time to do it. The more you spend looking for info, the less time you have to use it in writing. You should not copy responses for notes or resources. This year's AP exams were designed knowing that you have access to notes and resources. So the exam questions will ask you to apply concepts from your notes and resources in new ways. Copying what you've done in the past won't produce a satisfactory answer. Your class notes are better than internet searches. The internet can be an excellent source of data, but it's also a source of misinformation, diverging opinions, and manipulated content. And then, important, we're going to talk about security in just a moment.
I'm finished with my stuff.
Collaborating with others is not considered acceptable in notes, open note tests. Exams give you the opportunity to show your mastery of a subject, not someone else's. It's strictly forbidden to give or receive aid during the exam. Any student found using the work of others, exchanging or sharing information on exam topics, collaborating via any online platform, or soliciting tips for problem-solving approaches will be investigated for violating exam security. So let's look at exam security, and I'm going to go over this because this is super important and everyone needs to make sure they adhere to the College Board policies. So, again, it's open note, open book. Students, however, may not consult with any other individual during the testing period, with the exception of students working on AP Computer Science, but that does not apply to us. We'll take the necessary steps to protect the integrity of each exam as we do each year. We're confident the vast majority of AP students will follow the rules. For the small number of students who may try to gain an unfair advantage, we have a comprehensive and strict set of protocols in place to prevent and detect cheating. We are keeping some of these protocols confidential to maximize their effectiveness, and then others are listed here. So the College Board is taking multiple steps to ensure the integrity of the exam, and they're sharing a few of those with you, and some of those they're not sharing. So first and foremost, the exam format and questions are designed specifically for at-home administration. So points will not be earned from a content that can be found in your textbook or online. Each subject exam will be taken on the same day at the same time worldwide. On test day, students will be required to verify their identity and confirm the work they submitted as their own. They're going to also use tools to detect plagiarism. There's a range of digital security tools and techniques, including plagiarism detection software and post-administration analytics to protect the integrity of these exams. In addition, each AP teacher will receive copies of the student's work, and enabling teachers to spot inconsistencies with the student's work. Students who violate the exam security will receive consequences, and these are severe consequences. So please make sure you listen, read closely, and understand. Students whose responses mirror online content or other student submissions will have their scores canceled. Students sharing or receiving exam content or exam responses or engaging in any plans or efforts to provide or gain an unfair advantage will be blocked from testing, or their AP scores will be canceled. This includes communications or assistance in person, via the internet, social media, or any other means. If the College Board determines that a student gained or provided an unfair advantage on an AP exam, they will notify the high school of the student, so the school can choose to take disciplinary action. They will also provide a report about the incident to colleges or other organizations to which the student has sent any College Board scores, including your SAT scores, to which the student would send scores in the future. So if you're caught cheating on this exam, any college that you have sent SAT scores for, as of now, or in the future, will also be notified of this plagiarism. Students who attempt to gain an unfair advantage may also be prohibited for taking any advanced placement exam in the future, as well as being prohibited from the SAT subject test, or club assessments. And under certain circumstances, the College Board may inform law enforcement of the incident to determine if prosecution of the test taker or anyone assisting the test taker in misconduct is warranted. This is extremely important, and it's not something to take lightly. So please make sure you understand these consequences prior to taking the exam. Scoring is going to be normal, and I'm not going to open this link. It's still going to be the 1 to 5 scale, and they also anticipate releasing scores close to the usual July timeframe. So for practice, there's a couple of resources. First of all, the College Board guidelines for practicing. Start with your AP class, go over the exam format, which we're doing here. There's practice resources in the AP Classroom, and everyone should be signed up for AP Classroom now, so use that as a resource. Your course has an exam page. We've gone over the exam, but you can always look at that. And then there's more practice materials from the exam page, and I've included some of them in our s'more. The first one, this was produced by a teacher, and she looked at FRQ terms. She went over the past 9 years and pulled terms that are on the FRQs for the past 9 years, and then categorized them by unit. So you can see on this sheet, you have units 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it continues. And listing all of the terms. So though these are the terms that could possibly appear, there could be more, but this is a good gauge. Now what she also did is she looked at how many times the terms have been on the FRQ in the past 9 years. For example, operational definition has appeared on 6 out of the past 9 FRQs. So that means you probably need to know what this is. And we know one's going to be over research methods. So I would make sure I know can apply every single term in this box. And then just, go through. This is a great starting point. 3/4 of your battle in AP Psychology is command of vocabulary. And so this is a good review sheet. Another really nifty thing that the College Board produced was a YouTube channel for any AP class. We're going to look at the psychology one. But for any AP class, they have produced videos reviewing all of the topics. Make sure this doesn't play. Okay, let me pause that. No. Okay, good. Okay, so over here is kind of your table of contents, and they produced disorders, and that was the first production. And then they kind of went back and did the beginning of the class moving forward. So what I would plan to do as a good resource for preparing for the exam is to make time, and you can see how long each one of these videos are, make time to watch each video. Within the video, you're getting a review of the topic and then also how it could appear or apply in an FRQ. So these are very valuable resources that you don't need to, ignore. Additionally, I have added a review sheet that corresponds with the videos. So while you're watching video 1.1, here is a guide, a video guide. And so I would fill this out and I would keep these, put them in a notebook, review these guides. And, they would make a great resource for review. Now this was also created by another teacher. I'm on a couple of teacher sites for AP Psychology. And so you're not getting a grade for these assignments. These are review for the AP exam. So you can ignore any instructions that say turn this in or complete a ticket out the door. This is the Schmore in a nutshell, and hopefully it will be a valuable resource for you in preparing for this year's AP exam. If you have any additional questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you.